Yes, I'll say it again. This legislation will bring down the deficit. Bring down the deficit. The sixth point I want to make is this bill will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. And I promise, a promise I made during the campaign and one that I've kept. Now look, I know it can sometimes seem like nothing gets done in Washington. I know it never crossed any of your minds, but the work of the government can be slow and frustrating and sometimes even infuriating. Then the hard work of hours and days and months from people who refuse to give up pays off. History is made. Lives are changed. With this legislation, we're facing up to some of our biggest problems, and we're taking a giant step forward as a nation. That didn't just happen on this Inflation Reduction Bill. It also happened yesterday when the Senate made the bipartisan decision as a nation to invest in America's manufacturing technology of semiconductors and additional funding for basic research and development in the cutting-edge industries of the 21st century. If the House passes this bill, I want to thank Speaker Pelosi. I think she's going to get it done for her leadership here. It has the added benefit of creating tens of thousands of additional good-paying jobs, lowering inflation. It's going to give us the ability not only to compete with China for the future, but to lead the world and win the economic competition of the 21st century. You've heard me say 1,000 times, we have to invest in research, development, and growth. I hope that the House is going to pass this bill today. My plea is, put politics aside. Get it done. We need to lower the cost of automobiles, appliances, smartphones, consumer electronics, and so much more.
Fourth stimulus check update. So there are three key factors that will affect the fourth round of stimulus payment. For all Americans, lawmakers are including both Democrats and Republicans have shown support for a one-time additional stimulus checks aimed at low-income households, and these checks could be worth up to $2,000. So dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Welcome to Updates Area YouTube channel. The majority of Americans strongly support our federal government authorizing a fourth stimulus check. There are three factors that will profoundly affect whether the lawmakers in Washington D.C. will provide another direct payments into the bank account of taxpayers and dependents nationwide. The first factor is whether Democrats and Republicans can find a bipartisan way forward on stimulus funds for families. Republicans have not been on board for another direct payment issued to most eligible adults. However, a number of influential Republicans are in favor of an expanded child tax credit, and this has been a key priority for Democrats as well. Although there is a disagreement about such a tax credit and how it should be structured, it is possible that our lawmakers from both sides of the aisle will come together to find compromise now that control of Congress is split, and if so, families could at least see more financial help this year. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, one of those leading efforts in the Senate, has recently told CNN News Republican leader decided to send a lump of coal to Americans' children last year. We know that the most significant step that Congress can take to help Americans' children is to support an expanded child tax credit. When the Congress took action on this in 2021, we cut childhood poverty in America in half as of right now. Now things will go back to the way before the American Rescue Plan took effect, meaning that families can only claim $2,000 per child in 2023. Republicans currently control of the House of Representatives by a narrow margin. There are 222 Republicans and 213 Democrats. If some of the more liberal Republicans decide to cross the side of and vote with the Democrats on key issues, it is possible that this could result in the Biden administration being able to provide additional stimulus money. And finally, the key last factor is external, and it relates to whether the economy gets worse or the crisis gets worse. Crisis has not been eradicated and is not likely to be. There is a strong possibility that our country could enter into a recession, in which case stimulus checks are one tool that could be on the table. As checks have been issued during the past downturns, now friends, the Internal Revenue Service said it's recently finished correcting tax returns filed for 2020 that included overpayments for unemployment benefits that workers received that year, and that it had issued 12 million tax refunds. As a result, the average tax refund is $1,232, with the agency spending a total of $14.8 billion back to taxpayers. The IRS has said that the taxpayers were sent letters from the IRS to inform them about the fixes to their 2020 tax filing. The tax review came about due to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which was signed into law by the President Biden. The legislation excluded up to $10,200 in 2020 unemployment aid from being counted as a taxable income, but some taxpayers had already filed the returns in early 2023 before the law became effective, and because of that, the Internal Revenue Service reviewed returns followed by workers who reported jobless aid as income in 2020, but who filed their forms before the law was enacted. The Internal Revenue Service has recently said some taxpayers received refunds while others had overpayment applied to taxes due or other debit. In some cases, exclusion only resulted in a reduction in their adjusted gross income. About 14 million tax returns were corrected, but the IRS issued refund for 12 million of those filings. Individuals and married couples whose adjusted gross income was below $150,000 were eligible to have some unemployment aid on tax, and according to the IRS, taxpayers who are eligible for the exclusion and who haven't received a correction letter from the IRS may need to file an amended 2020 tax return to claim their refund. So what's your thoughts on this, and let me know in the comment section. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.